Hey everybody, I'm Michaela,
And I'm Jade.
and welcome back to this week's episode of Comfortable Eye Contact.
And today we'll be talking about toxic college culture and people doing extracurriculars that they don't actually like, but they just do it to fill up their resume.
Yeah, so this is something that, obviously right now seniors are like in the midst of it. This is like the time you talk to a senior, this is pretty much all that's going on in their head. Similar to how juniors are in like SAT, ACT mode, kind of that whole freak out mindset, but this is like essentially the only thing the entirety of the senior class is talking about right now.
I think everyone talks about it throughout the whole school. I think since freshman year, everyone in Scarsdale is obsessed with college.
That's a good point, actually.
Just things in general, all they talk about is their level classes.
There were like people in freshman year, I remember, like picking clubs to be in for the only for like meeting certain qualifications on the resume.
People will tell me like straight up that they just do charity for the rest of it. They're like, oh, and this was so good that I did this charity because now I can put on my college resume. And I was like, oh, but do you like helping people? And they're like, yeah, that's a bit of
bonus.
a pro.
It's a bonus, yeah. No, Jade and I actually have done, or we're in the process of doing a really big charity thing, right?
Yeah.
And we want to do it for like a reason that affects both of us, and there are people in the school who there's no hate to them because I'm sure in some measure of whatever it is that they're doing, they're like valid.
And some they have some moral compass and they do it to fulfill themselves.
But a large portion of like why they're doing these things has to do with like getting into college, meeting mom and dad's like SAT standard, like your extracurricular number has to be at this point. Like what are you doing it for? You can't possibly enjoy being in Habitat for Humanity once a month. Like you just go. I don't understand.
It's so funny. Actually, I was in the club. Anyway, and
yeah,
I went once a month.
Okay, but like if you went, did you do it because you thought like this is a thing that everyone's doing and like this is a thing that I'm going to be like I'm gonna feel a sense of pride in what I'm producing or what I'm creating?
Yeah, the builds are so much fun.
Okay, so you actually, that's really interesting. So you did it.
I did take a gap.
Okay, you did take a little bit of a break. Okay, but like that example is good. You did it because you felt like the builds were like something you would enjoy, something you like cared about.
Also, isn't this an extracurricular we're doing right now? But we're doing this because we enjoy it. Like we talked about it for so long as doing a podcast because we talk about the strangest things.
Since I think freshman, maybe middle school, Jade and I have been talking, like, our conversations, we find ourselves
we're like, we need to broadcast
We
this.
really do. We have to talk to people about
these conversations are more
structured
and,
like, laid out. But, like, this is something we both enjoy doing. This is literally what we're talking about.
I like talking about conspiracy theories, but Michaela doesn't want to bring this to the school.
Whatever it is, what we're doing is something we both enjoy. We like talking to each other. We like talking in front of people, for other people. The things that people are doing to meet these qualifications on a list are honestly kind of, like they're only doing it for reasons that involve college. Like we have a friend, Jade and I have a friend who since, the beginning of high school has structured their entire list of hobbies, activities around this. Like, they have this one school in mind. And you get to, like, you get to junior year, and this is when people really start thinking about these things. You start touring. You see people going to colleges on the weekend, having, like, supposed really good times, all this stuff, because people are taking them out. But, like, is it really that great of a... I feel like that's just more stressful.
When you were saying that, you were like... I don't know why I keep saying, like... I said, like, about 20 times in the last podcast. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I was thinking you were saying about who this person was, and there's so many people that I thought of.
Yeah.
I mean, now I can kind of narrow it down, but
yeah, no, it describes.
It applies to so many people.
It really does. I don't know. I feel like we can list them. I feel like we can not the people. Yeah, we can list some of the extracurriculars that people do. Charity is the biggest one, I feel like. There are, like, a very select few amount of people who, like, college doesn't even come on their radar when they hear the opportunity to do a charity thing. And, like, those are the greatest people in the world, and I can't think of any of them, to be honest.
I had friends who were doing charity in middle school, but it wasn't for this. It was just because
they're good
quality people.
Quality Yeah.
Quality? What did you
Quality
say?
lads. Quality lads. I don't know. I feel like at some point, like, we've had talks with in sophomore year, my Dean Hiller, like, talked to our the sophomore group and was like, he showed us this video and somebody like admitted to it. They
Admitted to what?
to straight up like doing extracurriculars for the sole purpose of like checking off.
Wait,
10,
what was
12
the
boxes.
video? I'm lost.
So it was like them going through their applications, like for college, and they just not only did they like do these things for they would flat out lie. Like on their applications, they're like exaggerating the amount of hours or community service or like the amount of time they spent doing all this stuff. Like straight up lies.
Like a random person just recorded.
Yeah, he had like 12 kids on this video. I remember that, and he was presenting it to us because we were about to go into a really important academic year, junior year, which we're in now, and this is when people start making those choices because their parents are on them about college and SATs, and their teachers are like super strict and all this stuff, and like these kids are under all of this pressure. But I feel like it's not even an excuse anymore. Like these kids, they straight up lied about like charity community
But
hours.
they also pressure like their peers. I think there's so much pressure in Scarsdale around peers. Like, yes, parents, but everyone talks about like all they want is academic validation and that they're a good person for doing this or that, or they're gonna go somewhere in life. Where it's like,
Yeah, I mean, you go out on the weekends now, and like, I feel like people talk about this like in social situations. Like, they can't
I
even
just want them
separate.
to shut up. To be honest, I don't care. I mean, unless I ask, I do care. And maybe I'm being hypocritical, but
I mean, it's annoying. It really is annoying. Like, entire hangouts will center around like what people are gonna do next year, where people are visiting.
this has been since freshman year.
I don't know if it's like to this extent that I mean maybe we only notice it more because like now our senior friends who we're like close with are going through it, so we see it, and like I get it. This is the only thing you guys are talking about. This is the only thing, but it's so not only is it frustrating to be around, it's kind of daunting because that like I feel like despite whatever we say now, it's gonna be us. You know, like you can't escape that. I don't know. But you're probably right, like, just friends talking about it.
Daunting was a good word.
Was it?
I was just
You like the
about
word?
how it's daunting.
I
That's a
mean,
good one.
It's a pretty good one. Daunting.
Also, I think adults, at least my job, a lot of the older people ask me about college, and then I'll be like, and they'll just wait for my response.
As
They'll be
soon
like, what
as-
colleges are you looking at? I'm not sure.
As soon as they know what age you are, if you say you're any age from 16, honestly 15, if you say you're like 15, 16 to 18, any adult like who first meets you is like, what schools are you looking at? What are you thinking about? What are you doing for?
And you can also see their judgment right after you mention anything they say. They're like, okay.
My grandpa. Okay, Jade has met my grandpa. He's a really sweet guy.
I love him.
He's adorable. He really is adorable. But like this, I mean, this is just the closest example I can think of an adult who's like every conversation begins, middle, end. It has to revolve around.
Really?
Everything has to
Well,
revolve.
the one
around
time I
college.
met him, he did mention this.
It's got like it's like this like it's I mean it's weird. I find it really annoying, but like it's also weird. Like why is this the only thing that they associate what's going on in our lives with? I just think it's annoying, honestly. We'll see though. It might become us, and then we'll look back on this 10-minute clip and be like,
Oh, we're gonna be talking about this
yeah. I
next
feel,
year.
I feel like we're gonna like be out on a Saturday night and like talking about where
We'll
we're
try
touring
to
and-
avoid this conversation. At least I tell Michaela to not talk about SAT or AC practice
It's
because
usually me.
it stresses me out.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like
Because-
Jada, I mean, we don't fight ever. Like literally never. Can you imagine fighting with me? No. Nobody who knows us, I mean, we just don't. We're on good terms 100% of the time. But on the very rare occasion that we do have an argument, it usually revolves around me saying something like,
It's usually her fault.
okay, I wouldn't
That's
go
the
that
moral
far.
of the story.
I wouldn't go that far. But like we'll talk about, or I'll talk about like SAT, ACT stuff, and it's stuff that like Jade and a lot of other people, it stresses people out. Like nobody wants to talk about this stuff. And this is like a very small micro example of like the greater seniors talking about like it's just all that goes on. And it's literally not their fault. It's like this whole, I mean, it's a culture thing. It is what it is. But it's a rant. What we're doing is ranting. We can't change it because it's just
Yeah, maybe we've been repetitive, but at least you we got our point across.
I feel like, yeah, definitely something. I don't know. It is what it is. You can't really change it because of the fact that, like, it's just like we were talking about work. It's going to be us.
Yeah.
You just
Anyway,
want to do
we've
it.
been talking for 10 minutes.
We have.
And you're probably watching this and, like, maybe you should stop at this point. You're thinking, well, we're going to really soon in about the next 20 seconds or so.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
what do you have to say to the...
I feel like I said everything. I'm good.
Okay, well, thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
And this
everybody.
has been Comfortable Eye Contact
That is
with
true.
the amazing name that Michaela made up.
Yes. You love it. You love it. Bye, everybody.
Bye.